I just wanted to, one point that you guys all made, you said, or in your question it was implied that the US administration was forced to pay $6 billion to get the hostages out. That means, and I see it differently. I don't see it in that way, and I'm not an expert, as you guys, but I've looked at every hostage case like in the last 44 years. And when every administration is doing it wrong, when we all see that paying $6 billion to hostage takers is going to make it worse, we can assume that they see it too. We're not the only clever people in the world that figured this out. So when you do this mistake over and over and over again, at what point do we think that you're forced to do it or make a mistake? And at what point do we acknowledge that maybe this is not a mistake? Maybe our governments, our Western governments, are using hostages as a front because they don't care about hostage. They've shown me that through my dad's case. They left a hostage under death sentence behind. They have showed us this. They don't care about human rights in Iran because they don't care what happens to the people. They don't even care about the hostages or the people of Israel. They're forced to flex muscles right now because we have a big Jewish community that is doing that and that's putting pressure on them. But why do I think that this is not a mistake, but this is a front? Because when you're paying $6 billion to a terrorist regime, you don't do it for nothing. You don't do it for releasing 5 prisoners. You are doing it because you're getting something back. So what are you getting back? If we assume, and I'm not assuming that out of nothing, I'm assuming that on the facts that we just exposed, that the Islamic regime's lobby group infiltrated our government for at least a decade. They're in our academia, they're in our universities, they're in our media, they're in our State Department, they're in our Department of Defense, they're part of the people who made this deal. So if we know that, and we know we're giving them $6 billion, and just a fraction of that we assume is coming back, a fraction, 1% of $6 billion, how much is that? My math is back. $600 million, let's say that. Coming back, funding these people who then make another campaign and have these think tanks that tell the next administration it's good to continue negotiating with these people, then at that point, to me, this is not a mistake anymore. So we have to do investigations to see who in our current administration thought this is a great idea and investigate and see what their relationship to these governments, to these lobbies, to these think tanks are.